Boom, we're live.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm super excited about today's episode. For those who might not be familiar, but of course you know Marina and you happen to be catching this. My name is Julia Holly. I own JH Creative, and this is a CityClips live series, and we focus on North Florida business and tech. And I'm going to give her a quick intro before we dive in to talk about her awesome story. Marina Lickson is the director of Northwest Florida of the Moran Institute for Global Entrepreneurship, also known as JMI, which is part of FSU's Moran College of Entrepreneurship. She leads and oversees the Institute's programs and initiatives across Northwest Florida, providing executive education and entrepreneurial support designed for both for-profit and nonprofit business leaders. With more than 15 years of experience as a business owner in the Tallahassee area, Marina offers a practical entrepreneurial perspective to her role. She's an alumna of JMI's Tallahassee Small Business Executive Program, which strengthens her connection to the Institute's mission. So happy to have you, Marina. I'm so excited about today's episode.
Yeah, Julia, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So obviously, let's go back.
Sure.
What brought you to Tallahassee?
Yeah, that's a long time ago. I know, I feel like I've been here forever. Honestly, what brought me to Tallahassee was a job loss in New England and time for a change and a divorce going on. I was in the defense industry and lost my job during the Clinton administration when the defense budget was cut. And so I hightailed it to Florida, and Tallahassee sort of happened, and I am grateful every day because the topography reminds me a little bit of New England, and I love it here. It was a great place to raise my two girls.
I love it, and I have to say the same. I'm really thankful to have raised my family here. And so jumping over to when you started your first business, where were you in your life stage? What made you decide, okay, I want to start a business?
Yeah, so it was, like I said, I got here in a complete different, whole world. And I went to work for a health food store, right? I came from a state that homeopathy was legal and practiced. And when I got here, I realized I needed to, sort of create my village. And that included like a healthy living way to go and a health food store. And so I got a job in a little local health food store where I subsequently met my husband, Bill, and we ended up buying the store together. So that was it. It was all I knew in terms of how to feed my kids, how to raise my kids. And so it was very comfortable. And yeah, we bought it and grew it to 3 stores in a matter of those 15 years. So it was a great adventure, and it, embedded me in the community, the small business community here in Tallahassee.
And it's funny, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I didn't even realize you were alumna of the JMI business program, because I thought it was more on the newer side since I joined, and I think I was class 19. I could be wrong with my numbers.
No, I think
you're definitely right. A couple springs ago.
Yeah, I think you're 19. So I had heard about the JMI Small Business Executive Program, and I raised my hand and applied and was accepted. That was 2012, and it was the second JMI SBEP Small Business Executive Program here in Tallahassee. So I was class 2. And you were class 19, so, and that actually set me up perfectly after our stores were closed and gone, set me up perfectly to be right where I am right now.
What was the experience like having to grow, the store? And I mean, retail is not easy, and especially in a small town, and even to grow to 3 stores. To me, that's a level of success for Tallahassee.
Yeah, well, very, very interesting. When you're doing one, you're like, well, sure, two is no problem because I can just sort of, we have the template, I'll just mimic it, and so we did. And then, well, you're doing two, what's three? And actually, we moved sort of, the third one was in Gadsden County, which is a very rural community, and the need was tremendous up there for anything healthy. And so, but it was a lot of work. 4 kids. We're a blended family. Bill has 2 boys. I have 2 girls. So, kids were all in school, all different places, and we were running around like, as parents tend to do when they have 4 kids. So it was a lot of work. And Bill and I are very different people, and so he was sort of behind the scenes, and I was in it day to day. So, yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot of work.
Yeah.
No complaints, a lot of work. We came to a sort of a crossroads, if you will. He wanted a franchise. We owned 3 of these stores outright. He wanted to franchise, and I just wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to lose the mom and pop of it, if you will, and the localness of it. And at that time, a couple things happened. There were situations where we shut down 2 stores. The price of rent was going up. One of the locations that we were in had an empty parking lot for years. It was so painful. So it started sort of costing us money to keep that location over. And Gadsden County ended up being a labor of love and no profit. So the one store I had was in Market Square. That was the one store I had left. And we got a notification that they were going to sell Market Square. And we all know that was 12, 15 years ago. And we all know where Market Square is now. But it was a big conglomerate out of Texas, and they were not so small business friendly at the time. They didn't make communication easy, and they didn't make us feel welcomed or staying there to feel welcomed. And right at the same time, again, it was the health food industry that I was in. Amazon bought Whole Foods, and the discount structure for small businesses was changed dramatically. And so all of that, and my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer, all in the same time. So we made the decision to close and focus on Bill's health, which we did. And he's 10 years cancer free, knock on wood. I'm always happy to say that. So it was a very interesting time in our lives. And of course, we all know where Amazon and Whole Foods is now. I mean, it's just tremendously huge, but that was the impetus of it. That was the beginning of all of this change that we've lived through. And of course, Market Square is finally up and running, and not full yet, but a lot of big box stores. So yeah, it was quite interesting. Yeah.
How did you get through all of those challenges?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think when you're a survivor and a planner, my focus was taking care of my husband, making sure that, he got everything he needed. That was really the focus. I didn't really care what I needed to do or did until I knew that he was going to be taken care of, So he spent weeks and weeks over at Chan's, and I went and got a job with the state, as one does here in Tallahassee. But I stayed in my wheelhouse, the Division of Food, Nutrition, and Wellness for the Department of Agriculture. So tried to stay in my wheelhouse a little bit. It was great experience, and I'm grateful every day that I went through that, But when I was looking around, as sort of one does sometimes when you work for the state, I noticed that the Moran Institute was hiring. And so I applied for a job, and they called and said, we want you for this job rather than that job. And so here I am. So, things all happen for a reason sometimes. So I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be and right where I need to be. I feel like I'm home.
Yes, absolutely. And they picked the right person, because every time I see you in the community, you look so happy to be with other business owners. And yeah, I'm so thankful that you're there. And it was a great experience for me. The executive program was so, it's just fully supportive staff. You guys were on top of everything. Great speakers.
Thank you for saying that. I think we've worked really hard to be right where we need to be. So, yeah, we have 4, as you know, but we have 4 locations across the state. We're here in the mothership, Tallahassee, and we have Jacksonville, Tampa, and down in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale. So, yeah, we are in our 30th year, the Jim Moran Institute. So it's exciting and sort of mind-blowing.
It's really fascinating, the story of Jim Moran. Can you mention a little bit about, like, he was a car salesman, right?
Well, yeah, I love talking about Mr. Moran because he was the quintessential philanthropist and entrepreneur. Keep in mind, he was born in 1918, right? So things were a little bit different then. He was very poor, grew up in Chicago, and took his little red wagon one day with some soda pop to the ballpark and started selling it for more than he paid for it, and an entrepreneur was born. Fast forward, his love of cars led him to buy his first business, which was a Sinclair gas station. Are you ready for this? He bought an entire gas station for $360, give or take $1 or $2. So, I mean, some of these big trucks today, you can fill the gas up for $360, right? So that was his first foray into really being his own businessman. And then he grew his love of cars and businesses, and on a trip to Japan, he befriended Dr. Toyota and brought Toyota to this country, which is also mind-blowing. And, the cars way back in the late 60s, early 70s were still being manufactured in Japan. And he couldn't quite accept the slowness of them getting here. And so he made his way, by then he was in South Florida, made his way to Jacksonville, and because there's a port there, and he began importing them. So he was fundamentally responsible for importing cars from Toyotas from Japan. And then, Toyota said to him, what doesn't the American car, situation have? And he said, they need a good luxury card. So Lexus was born. I mean, talk about, I just could go on and on and on about all of his philanthropic ways and his entrepreneurial ways. Yeah, he met Dr. Melstith, who was at the time the College of Business, Dean of College of Business here at Florida State, and they became friends. After Mr. Moran passed, Mrs. Moran called Dr. Stith and said, I'd like to make a donation to the university. And so $100 million was given to FSU, still the single largest donation to this day, for us to continue the work of the Jim Moran Institute, again, in 4 locations across the state, and to start the Jim Moran College. And as you know, because I know you've interviewed our wonderful dean, Dean Susan Fiorito, she took that challenge on, and she started the College of Entrepreneurship, which is now, I believe it's in its 7th year, give or take. And now we are merged together. So the Jim Moran Institute comes under the umbrella of the Jim Moran College. And boy, I am just overjoyed to have Dean Fiorito sort of steering the ship of where we're going, so that's been wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it was meant to be because we always saw you all together working on very similar initiatives and doing so much for the community, which is a great time to bring up LEAP. I think if you can talk about that, because maybe not many know about it, you're doing amazing things for the underserved community. Can you talk about LEAP?
Yes, I would love to. So because we are, married, if you will, Jim Moran College and Jim Moran Institute, finally, Dr. Fiorito brought Dr. Susanna Santos from Rowan College in New Jersey. And with Susanna came this wonderful program that she worked on. It's called different things in different places, but we called it LEAP, Leon Entrepreneurial Adversity Program. So it is a 10-month boot camp, scholarship based. So if you can't afford to pay for it, there are scholarships available. 10-month boot camp, 6 weeks in person. We give you the 80 steps of entrepreneurialism, how to start your business if it's a concept, or fine tune your existing business. After that phase 1 is done, then we move into phase 2, which is mentorship. And Julia, thank you for being one of our mentors this year. It was such a wonderful match, I do believe. And so then the third phase is to take these businesses and match them with students from the Jim Moran College. So we go through all of the phases. And I do want to say that your mentee was one of the chosen. He actually earned, he earned a microgrant. Which he will be awarded later on this month, or next month. So, I mean, how wonderful. Just absolutely, it's a great, great program. Last year we piloted it and we're quite successful. So we're running with it again this year. And we look forward to having the same success this year as we did last year.
Yes, I have to say, Jacob has been a pleasure to meet up with. So funny, very talented. And so excited. So when he surprised me and told me that, yeah, he was one of the few that won, I was like, what? I'm so thrilled. So, yeah, thank you for that.
But
And
thank you for your participation too, because that's really what it's all about, matching the community businesses with those entrepreneurs to, reinforce them to be successful.
And that really falls in line with Jim Moran's vision, really. I think he really had a passion for entrepreneurs to get help and support. I can't imagine what it was like back then. We have all these resources available now. It's easier
amazing.
than ever to start.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I think that's the thing that I love talking about the most is that he wanted, and Mrs. Moran and the Moran Foundation, they wanted to make sure that we continue on this journey that he started by servicing small businesses and nonprofits. So that's our, the Small Business Executive Program and the Nonprofit Executive Program. They are our pillars, our JMI pillars. Those are, our mainstay. We do 2 cohorts a year in 4 places across the state for the Small Business Executive Program. And then I think currently all of us are doing 1 nonprofit executive program. But I just brought in a wonderful addition to the JMI family of Kim Grippa. And Kim has tremendous experience in the nonprofit world. So we hope to just blow that up next year also and do what we need to do. We're adding more program days into our nonprofit cohort and forming a nonprofit task force here in the community to really help support nonprofits, just support them because there's not really a whole lot out there. We are also starting a nonprofit peer group. As you know, one of the things that we do at JMI is peer groups as well as all the other programs that I've talked to you about, all at no cost. So we are going to be, we're currently taking applications for nonprofit peer groups, and we'll put all of those people in a room and no advice given. If you've lived it, you can speak to it. JMI will facilitate it, and we hope to support nonprofits in that fashion going forward.
Oh, that's definitely a gap that needs to be filled. So I'm so glad y'all are doing that. And yeah, you're so good about answering my questions in advance because you mentioned the peer group, and I love it. So yeah, because I was going to ask you about the peer group now, for regular business owners, and then now the nonprofit peer group. So what does the format look like?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking me. Peer groups are another really important thing. Again, 4 locations across the state. We have 4 peer groups here in Tallahassee, and that nonprofit hopefully will be our 5th. We're excited about that. Some of these peer groups have been together 10 or 12 years, but when I took over, we had a wait list. I was only one person, right? Could only do so much. So we're making some changes to our peer groups to be more in alignment in what the other JMIs do across the state, trying to turn over those peer groups and sort of give everyone a chance, if you will, at the JMI resources. So we're continuously adding people to the peer groups, and again, starting up the nonprofit. So the format is no advice given. We meet once a month, an hour and a half. Here in Tallahassee, it's lunchtime. In South Florida, they do a few at lunch and a few for breakfast. And you as small business owners bring issues to the table, and we hash it out, talk about it, best practices and strategies, but we also, again, no advice given. So, you can speak to it if you've lived it, but no advice given. And I think that's the key thing that makes it all work. We're not sitting there, listening to someone point their finger saying, you know what you should do. So we're really just, it's a share, and they're quite successful, really quite successful.
That's the best. And sometimes peer groups can be very pricey. So it's very generous of Jim Moran College to provide something like that. And so is it one of those things where you're invited? Do people reach out to you to apply if they're interested?
Yeah, so thank you again for asking that. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. So if you are alumni of JMI, the Jim Moran Institute's Small Business Executive Program, and now our nonprofit executive program, you can apply to come in to those programs. Application based, and we have a number, that our sweet spot is 12 to 15 businesses or nonprofits. So yeah, we like people to come through our program so they have a basis to know what we're doing and who we are. And so yeah, you're eligible to apply, Julia. We would love to have you in one of our peer groups. Yes.
And they're so effective. Like, it's really good when you have peers. And then you're being held accountable. Did you accomplish your goal for the month? That kind of thing. They really do.
Also, small businesses, it's hard, right? You feel like you're an island. How are you going to meet payroll? What's going to make these people happy? What are you doing that I don't know about? Do you offer benefits? How many sick days do you? All of those questions for a small business is really important to understand what everybody else is doing. So you can be competitive in the market, and you can also offer your employees, sort of a level playing field. Hey, we do this, as a small business. So yeah, it's been really, really wonderful, wonderful experience.
I'm glad you mentioned applications too. So you have some, you already have your several cohorts going. So yeah. I don't know how you keep up with all of it.
It's a lot, right? So I'll give you the rundown here in Tallahassee, right? So this is just the Tallahassee office, but I do suggest that if anyone is not in your listening area, is not in Tallahassee, that you look at the JMI website under programs and pick the city that you're in, and you'll get those details in particular. But we start our small business executive program for the fall next week here in our beautiful Jim Moran building, which is downtown. But our spring 2026 applications are open online, so you can apply. Our nonprofit cohort, we do one of those a year at this point. We are in the middle of sending out congratulations emails right now to those people that the selection committee chose. And so we don't have the dates for 2026 yet, but we will. As soon as we seat this class, we'll put the application up for that. LEAP applications are open. That's the 10-month boot camp right here in beautiful downtown Tallahassee every Saturday morning. And then let's see, what else do I have? I am going over to Panama City at the FSU campus to do a small business executive program over there. And so that application is also up on our JMI website as well. So it's a community that needs us, I feel. And the dean and assistant dean over there were extremely welcoming and said, what do you need? And here I go. So we'll be taking that show on the road. We'll be there every Wednesday in the month of April. So if you're in Panama City or that area, please apply. Help us to be successful over there. If we get a good cohort, we'll be doing more of those. Dean Fiorito has been so lovely and just rolling with, yes, I want to go here. I want to do this. And she just has given me the green light and her blessing. So that's been really wonderful.
Yeah, she's awesome. I'm so glad I got a chance to interview her. There's so much growth. It's amazing. And you and Bill, I mean, he's going to be an upcoming guest too. Shout out to Bill, really. And that's really how we met, really, through Bill, because he has been serving on the board with Domi. And really, it's been a pleasure, like, getting to know you both. And in terms of what JMI not only does so much for the community, but you also partner with several in the community, including Domi. Domi wouldn't be here without FSU and JMI, Dr. Susan Fiorito, and FAMU. But if you wanted to mention, because not many people, it's so funny when I mention AERO, people are like, what's AERO? You're also a part of that,
Sure.
I guess, consortium. So
yeah, thank you for bringing that up too, Julia. It's so important. You can't do what we do on our own, right? Our JMI programming is speaker-based. So I always want to try to find the smartest, the best, the brightest, the most, the people on the cutting edge of technology and information to share with the people in our cohort. So AERO is the Alliance of Entrepreneurial Network, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I always forget what the acronym means, but it's
yes, resource organizations like Alliance of Entrepreneurial. Yeah.
Thank you. So it's all of the leaders in the community. It is all these acronyms, right? So we partner with all of these wonderful people here in town, Career Source Capital Region. So many small businesses have a need and they can provide a lot of the needs, especially during disasters, at no cost to small businesses. Who knew that? I did not know that as a small business owner until I came through JMI. We partner with the Office of Economic Vitality, all the things that they do to help bring businesses here to town. FAMU SBDC, it's so important, the work that they do and the information that they provide if you're a small business, all at no cost. I have to say that again. So again, if you're a small business and you don't know about these resources, we share a lot and we communicate a lot. And I mean, Appalachia Regional Planning Center, we just love Caroline. Her brain is so full of information and grant and money and what's out there. And so these AERO meetings are so important for us to what's happening, what's going on, what do I need to share, in the community, and what could benefit small businesses and nonprofits. So yeah, we're a tight-knit group, and that includes all three chambers: the Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, Capital City Chamber of Commerce, Big Bend Chamber of Commerce. All of those directors, presidents, executive directors are at the table, including Jim Moran College as well. So yeah, we are a tight-knit group.
I was lucky enough to be able to sit in the meetings just to help assist with, logistical things. And it was really neat to see how you all, collectively have the same mission to empower entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And so it was really nice to see all the key people in the room together, communicating with one another, thinking of ways of how to work together and collaborate.
Yeah.
So it there's so much I wish I can ask you more, but I know I want to respect your time. And in closing, to wrap up, if there's anything, is there anything else you want to mention first before I ask you for your words of wisdom?
Oh, I don't know. I think we covered everything. I just,
Yeah.
first of all, I want to take the time to say thank you for doing this. I love talking about Mr. Moran, Jim Moran Institute, Mrs. Moran, what they have done, quite frankly, for the state of Florida. I mean, we're such an anomaly. I don't know anywhere else that you could go and get the services that we provide at no cost. And I just don't know anywhere else that happens. So it's always an honor for me to talk about them and their philanthropy and the opportunities that, because we do have a wonderful opportunity to share. I'll just tell you this, like one of the things I got to sponsor this year was the Early Learning Coalition's Kidpreneur event. So, ages 6 through 12, we teach them how to be business people, and they choose a business, bracelet making or woodworking, et cetera, art. And they go through camp all summer long. And at the end of the camp, they have to open their store, which we held here at the Jim Moran building, and they're selling their products. And just, I can't help thinking that Mr. Moran would just be tickled to see what his philanthropy and Mrs. Moran and the Moran Foundation are doing. And that's just in Tallahassee, so I never tired of talking about it.
And it's pretty tremendous. I'm sure there's a major economic impact statewide for everything your teams have done over the years. And so, I'm sure that could be another thing. Maybe we just reshare on CityClips newsletter the key stats of everything that the school has done. And the other thing, you guys have an annual conference. And then I think Seminole 100 was with y'all, and then now it's with the College of Business.
Yeah,
right?
The Moran Institute started Seminole 100, and when it just got so big, the Alumni Association took it over. So we always sponsor every year still. And yes, we do a conference every year. We paused it 2024 until we got combined, but Dean Fiorito has given us the green light for 2026. So the powers that be are working on that behind the scenes. So we'll keep you posted where and the dates.
Thank you so much, Marina. If there's anything, I know we just scratched the surface, and I know one of my questions, if you're cool with giving practical advice to, I guess, young parent entrepreneurs, maybe couples, because you and Bill lived it and breathed it, and he managed campaigns at Zimmerman, you had your business, and you guys survived so many tough challenges. What would you say to that, struggling entrepreneur right now?
Yeah, I would say keep at it. Find a mentor or mentors, because we know how important that is. Julia, you did such a great job. We're here at the Jim Moran Institute and the Jim Moran College if anyone needs anything that we can offer. But it takes a village, right? That's not just a sentence. For me, I had to create that. So I really encourage everybody to create their village. You need, just like a good board on a nonprofit, you need people from all walks of life that do all sorts of different things and with different opinions. So that for me was really, really huge. Find your mentors and ask a lot of questions. I thought I knew everything, and then I sat in my JMI seat for 2 minutes and it blew me away. I'm like, well, I didn't know that, So yeah, keep learning, keep growing, asking questions, make a village.
I love it. And Jim Moran Institute is a place that is a village that provides that community for you. So, Marina, thank you so much for hopping
Julie.
on and talking a little bit. We'd have to have a part 2.
I'm in. Whenever you're ready, I'm in.
Awesome. So for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you subscribe for free on cityclips.net. And then you saw the JMI website. Check out all the information there. Follow Marina on LinkedIn. She's everywhere. And Marina, sit tight. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.